Hi, my name is Gabe Arnold. I'm the founder and CEO of Business Marketing Engine. And today we're going to talk about is 5 steps you can use to create a never-ending source of content marketing ideas. Because as marketers, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we know that we have to put fresh content out there. We know we have to catch attention. We know we have to really get in front of our audience in a new way so that we can show up for them and serve them. If we can't get their attention, we can't help them. And so marketing is such a huge part of that. And all this week, we've been talking about content marketing. And so I'm really excited to share these 5 steps that you can use to have a never-ending supply of content marketing ideas. Stay tuned, and I'm going to share them with you. So when we're creating content marketing, we talked about yesterday on the show is it's definitely important to batch your content and create time blocks to create content. It's also important to have a framework. And so if you didn't watch yesterday's episode, it's episode 313. You can check that out. It'll help you kind of create the time block and the framework in order to create your content and have a system around it. But that's only part of the equation. And that's why today we're going to talk about these 5 steps you can take that can help you always have new ideas. The first thing I'd encourage you to do is write resource, whether it's a pen and paper, a notebook you keep with you, or an app on your phone, or whatever's just your natural go-to when you come up with ideas or notes, and keep a running list of ideas and put all the bad ideas down there and all the crazy ideas, and of course the good ones too, because sometimes when we get a piece of an idea, if we allow ourselves to judge ourselves for the concept, then we don't get to explore the possibility of it. And if we instead are open to all the ideas, it allows us to kind of open up the conversation in our head, bounce ideas off other people, and it allows us to expand on something. So in the beginning, all ideas are good ideas. So keep that, list handy, keep building it, and just set a simple goal for yourself of like, I want to put 1 idea a day on here, or I want to put a couple a week, or set a goal that will help you build a large list of ideas so that you, when it's time to create content, when you get into that time block, like we talked about yesterday on the show, and it's time to create content inside of the framework you created, you have a list of ideas you can draw from. The second way that you can get a never-ending source of content marketing ideas is review your past content and see what's performing, see what gets the most comments, the most engagements, the most views, the most clicks, whatever format or medium you're putting it out on, see what got the most engagement, and then produce more of that content. One of the things that's easy to fall into as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, is that we get bored of doing the same thing over and over. But in reality, our audience needs to hear things multiple times, dozens of times before it clicks with them, and or before they're like, you know what, I've tried to apply this stuff myself. I know it's a good idea. I know it works, but I don't have the time or the skill or the focus to do this. So I'm just going to come to you to help. And so don't think that you have to come up with brand new, completely unique concepts every time, but instead focus on saying, you know what, I saw this piece of content produce really well, get results and get me the engagement and the conversations that I wanted to have with my audience. How do I say that same thing again in just a slightly different way? For me, I know when I'm following the coaches and the mentors and the people that I follow, it typically takes me 5 or 6, or, not super proud to say, but sometimes 10 plus times hearing the same concept before I get it. And so I'm so grateful to the folks that I follow that coach and mentor me for saying the same things over and over in the same way, in different ways until it clicks with me, because that's how they serve me. And that's the same way that you get to serve your audience, is you get to say the same things in different ways, same ways, and be consistent in talking about the things that your audience wants to hear about, because that's how you really show up and serve them. So that's the second thing, is look at what's producing and produce more of that content. Look at what's getting results, do more of it. The third thing you can do is gather intelligence and resources and research from groups, from podcasts, from where your audience is hanging out. So I have another podcast where we serve the home services industry, and when I'm like, man, I'm not sure what I should talk about next week, I'll just go in and take a look at the Facebook groups that talk about that. I'll listen to other podcasts. I'll check out YouTube channels. I get inspiration from other people. And I was talking to one of my clients today. They reached out and said, hey, just so you know, like I ended up writing about one of the same things that you talked about recently. And I just want to let you know, I hope that's okay. And I said, you know what? I love that. That's the exact same thing I do. if we're not sharing what we're learning, if we're not resharing that type of content or those ideas with our audience, then we're not serving them. So I love when people take things that I've talked about and put their own spin on it and help their audience too. So don't copy and paste what other people do, because that's low value and nobody will care and nobody will pay attention. But instead, take what you've learned, put your spin or twist on it, and share it in a way that's authentic to you, and it's really going to serve your audience. So that's the third thing you can do, is get ideas, get intelligence, get inspiration from other groups, other podcasts, other sources, where people are talking about the types of things that you offer in your business. The fourth thing you can do is you can ask questions of your community so you can serve their needs. And I will periodically post things on my social feed or send an email or even talk about on the podcast. Like I think I asked earlier this week, like, what do you want to hear from me? How can I serve you? What questions do you have? You can ask questions in different formats. You can test and see what people respond to. But the point is, test asking questions, figure out what gets people's interest and engagement, and get feedback from your community. So you're talking about what they need and want, and not just what you want to talk about. That's always something that we have to keep our pulse on. We have to see where our market is at, where our audience is really at, what's going on in our community around us, so that we can say, you know what, these are things that keep coming up. Let's address it. Let's solve it. And so keep your ear to the ground and pay attention to what they're talking about, and just directly ask, what do you need help with? What do you need support with? And then the fifth step to creating a never-ending content marketing ideas, like we've kind of already touched on a little bit in the episode today, is just rinse and repeat with a new twist. If you're paying attention to what's working, what people engage with, and what's getting you results from your content marketing, then you can keep talking about that. So I talk about content marketing a lot on this show. One of the reasons is that here at Business Marketing Engine, we help our clients with three main pillars inside of their marketing. We help them with the right destinations, what landing page, Facebook group, maybe even physical location you want to drive people to. Where are you sending people so they can take the next step? DCT, the D is for destinations. C stands for content. So we talk about content on the show. How do you put high quality content out there? How do you educate your audience so they buy faster? How do you really serve them with the information you're putting out there? And then the T stands for traffic. So we talk about different traffic sources. I just had a conversation earlier this week with one of my LinkedIn connections that said, you know what, I'm realizing that pay-per-click is not the only channel that our company should be in. Let's talk about cold email, Gabe. And so we just got to have a nice conversation, walk through what it looks like to engage another channel like cold email to grow their business. And so that would have only happened, or would never have happened, to say it another way, would have never happened if I just felt like, well, I've covered destinations, content, and traffic once on this show. I can never talk about it again. That would be a really ignorant approach of me. So fortunately, I've had some great mentors and coaches help me understand content marketing, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. And so when we evaluate what's performing, we can do it again. Even when we're not sure if something's performing, we can still talk about the same conceptual topic, but with a new twist, a new approach, or a new perspective that will catch the eye or the ear of the person that we want to serve. And so that's the fifth thing you can do to have a never-ending, stream of ideas. The first one is keep a list and always put all your ideas. All the ideas are good. When they come to you, you can develop them later. So don't judge them when that crazy or weird or new idea comes. Just put it down on the list. Second thing is review the content you put out there, see what's performing, produce more of that. The third thing is gather intelligence from groups, from podcasts, from other places that your community hangs out. The fourth step is ask questions of your community, your customers, everybody that's in your space. Ask them what they want to learn about, what they could use help with. And the fifth thing is just rinse and repeat. Go through the process again and make sure that you put a new twist on it. You give a new perspective. You tell a different story. And that way you're really going to serve the person that heard you the first few times, but it didn't click. And then they go, oh, now I get it. Thank you. Those are my tips for you this week. I'm really excited that we got to cover a ton of content marketing ideas. And what I want to ask from you is, where do you need support in your content marketing? If you comment down below, I'm going to give you an answer right in the thread there. If you reach out at businessmarketingengine.com, be happy to email you back. And if you want to have a conversation about how to level your brand up and how to educate your audience in such a way that they buy from you faster when they reach that point of decision, reach out, shoot me a message, go to businessmarketingengine.com, whatever's easier for you. Let's have a conversation and we'll figure out what works best for you. I appreciate you taking time to tune in today and look forward to seeing you on next week's show. Have an awesome weekend.